Let's move on to main topic number 4. And our fourth main topic today gets sent in to us from Bob Smith, who writes, looking at Captain Marvel's success and how everyone was talking about Black Widow after Endgame, do you think the Black Widow standalone movie can make $1 billion at the box office? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Bob. And yeah, one of the next big MCU movies coming up, of course, we got Spider-Man Far From Home coming from Sony here, but then we got Black Widow. And Black Widow is coming. Look, it's an MCU movie. Is Black Widow going to be a success? The answer to that question is duh. Of course it's going to be successful. It's going to make Marvel a lot of money. There are going to be a lot of people that want to go see it. And again, sometimes people ask me, John, why do you care so much about box office? Because of what box office tells us. Box office tells us what are us as the fans really interested in seeing? What in the marketing of these movies is attracting us to go out and see these movies? See, box office isn't just about money. Box office tells us a lot of things about us as fans and what we as fans, number one, want, and number two, what we're responding to when it comes to marketing, and number three, what we're responding to when it comes to subject matter. Box office tells us tons of really fascinating stuff. It's not just about the money. So if you hear me talk about box office a lot, it's not just because I'm fixated on how much money are these rich people making. No, because it's information that tells us about ourselves as moviegoers. So as we're looking at a movie like Black Widow, could a Black Widow have that much support amongst average fans, have that much connection with what it is we want and what it is we're looking for and what's going to appeal to us, that Black Widow movie is a movie that could make $1 billion? Could it? I'm going to say this first off. There is a big, big factor in whether or not a Black Widow movie can make $1 billion that we simply cannot evaluate yet. And that is the quality of the movie. Is the movie any good? Is the movie great? Is the movie disappointing? Is the movie one of the best comic book movies of all time? Is it one of the worst comic book movies of all time? I mean, this is a major factor in whether or not a Black Widow movie can get to $1 billion. That's probably the biggest factor out of all of them, and we simply have no way to ascertain that. Marvel's pretty much earned the benefit of the doubt at this point. However, we can't say for certain that this movie's going to be any good, or if it's going to be the worst, or if it's going to be the best. We just don't know. Understanding that we just don't know, I'm going to tell you this right now. Black Widow won't make $1 billion, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, before I tell you why, let me preface what I'm saying by saying that it is absolutely possible that it could make $1 billion. Of course it's possible. Again, I just admitted that the biggest factor of the quality of the movie, we don't even know about that yet. But should this movie not make $1 billion, I'm going to tell you why it won't. Now, also understand that 99% of the time when most of us say that a movie won't make $1 billion, we're right. But I'm also the guy, just to remind you all, I didn't think Aquaman would hit $1 billion, and it did. Now, almost every other movie I say won't hit $1 billion doesn't, and almost every other movie that you say won't hit $1 billion doesn't. But, I mean, keep in mind, most people, including me, very loudly, didn't think Aquaman would make $1 billion. Boom, Aquaman made $1 billion. So there you go. So keep that in mind. But I do not think that's what's in store for Black Widow, and I'm going to tell you why. And the main reason it won't, I'll get to in a second. There's a couple smaller reasons. Number one, there's really nothing exceptional about the Black Widow character. Look, I've said for a long time that I am not into, I've been saying this ever since, the 4-year consideration days, going that long. Ever since after Avengers came out, I've said I'm not really interested in either a Hawkeye or a Black Widow movie. I love Hawkeye and I love Black Widow, but these are characters that are standing amongst gods, are completely powerless. Black Widow's really good with a handgun and a stick. Hawkeye's great in a fist fight with a bow and arrow. But when you're in a movie universe with the Sorcerer Supreme, when you're in a movie universe with the Amazing Spider-Man, when you're in a movie universe with the God of Thunder, when you're in a movie universe with Hulk Smash, Am I really all that interested in a Hawkeye? Although I love Hawkeye in all the movies. I love the role he plays in all the movies. Love him. But do I want a standalone Hawkeye movie, or do I think he's better as a supporting character? I think he is better as a supporting character. Do I love Black Widow in all these movies? Abso-damn-lutely. Absolutely. I love her in all the movies. But I like her more in a supporting role like Hawkeye than I am interested in a standalone film about them. Now, whenever you bring that up, oh, it's a powerless character standing amongst gods, everybody then wants to, of course, you know where I'm going with this, everybody wants to bring up the B, Batman. But John, Batman is a hyper exception to the rule. Batman is a hyper exception to the rule. You can't compare anybody else to Batman. Now, there's a Tony Stark. He, naturally doesn't have any superpowers, but he has his magic armor with nanotech that can do anything. I mean, so he's got that, which pretty much puts him on par with the Sorcerer Supreme, which is ridiculous. Anyway. And I love Iron Man, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I love Iron Man. So I think that's working against it already. But again, let me get to the main thing. The main reason I don't believe that a Black Widow movie can make $1 billion, if it doesn't, this will be the reason, is this. You just killed her. You just killed her. Some may suggest, for good reason, but John, the fact that they just killed her is going to make people all the more excited to get into the theater. All the more excited to get into the theater to go and see her back. I don't think that's true. Let's take an example of precedence. Let's look at something like Solo. We said for a long time that, look, how successful can Solo be? People are not looking for a Han Solo movie that doesn't have Harrison Ford as Han Solo, especially when we just saw him. But what happened? We had him in the movie, and then he died, and then they didn't. Now, granted, that was a situation where they swapped out the actors. This is a situation where we're still getting Scarlett Johansson. That's a major difference. Let's just put that on the table. That's a major difference between. But still, there's a principle here. And understanding that this movie is a one-shot because she's dead, so this is a prequel of some kind, I just think that while the movie will still be successful and make a lot of money, I honestly think that that is going to dissipate some of the enthusiasm that this movie could have amongst a lot of fans. Even the ones who are interested in seeing a powerless character, just a regular human being like a Black Widow with whatever, I almost feel like she would have been better. I kind of feel like Black Widow would have been better served as a Disney Plus series, much like they're doing with Hawkeye. Because remember, they're doing a Hawkeye Disney Plus series. I'm kind of looking forward to that. But am I interested in a Hawkeye standalone feature film? Actually, no. And the same can be said about Black Widow for me. So anyway, again, let me be clear here. I ain't saying it's impossible for Black Widow to join the $1 billion club. We still got, if this movie's fantastic and amazing and wonderful, hey, it could very well do there. But if it doesn't, and we just saw Captain Marvel hit $1 billion, if Black Widow doesn't, I think for a small part of the reason it's going to be, does a powerless character in a universe full of gods really get that much more attention? Can that movie make more than a Thor Ragnarok? I don't think so. But more importantly, the whole philosophical angle of it, that we just had her on the big screen and she died, and we know she's dead watching this new movie. This is a dead character walking we're watching in this movie. Do we really care? Unless, of course, all this changes, guys. All this changes completely. If all of a sudden the marketing for Black Widow comes out and it kind of suggests the return of Black Widow. If it does that, which of course Marvel, it's the Marvel fake death universe. If they do that, that changes this narrative completely. If all of a sudden the trailers are coming out and it starts with Nat waking up on Vormir going, where was I? And Red Skull's like, yeah, some guy I used to hate with, red, white, and blue suit showed up and gave the Soul Stone back. So, hey, soul for a soul, deal's a deal. He returned the Soul Stone. We got to return you. So you're back. I mean, if the opening trailer shows Red Skull going, Natasha, daughter of Ivan, Arise, for the soul stone has been returned, therefore soul for soul, you're back. If that's what you put in the trailer, this whole thing is off. Then yes, absolutely, even I become a believer that a Black Widow movie could join the $1 billion club. But short of that, I just think if it doesn't, that will be the reason that it doesn't. But who knows? Hey, what do you guys think? Do you think Black Widow will hit the $1 billion film? If so, why? Or do you agree with me that, no, I don't think it will? But if it doesn't hit $1 billion, what do you think the main reason would be that it won't hit $1 billion? Not that it needs to hit $1 billion to be a major box office smash hit. This thing hit $600 million. It's a major smash hit. But, you know, we're talking about the big B club at this point. Jump down the conversation and let me know your thoughts. All right, let's now move on.